Yes.
After almost a year, I recall.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our emergency evacuation and COVID-19 safety protocols, procedures. Ms. Nosbish, would you review this information for the board?
Yes, sir. Thank you. If we would have an unforeseen fire drill or something at the office, there are just myself and the director participating from the office location, I believe. We would ask that you stand by until we are able to provide you with further directions. We would not end the call. Our building is still closed to the public, so if I were in a room with anyone else, I would have a mask on, but we are socially distanced. We are still working on a hybrid schedule in the office, and we are not open to the public. So hence, we are having this as our first virtual auctioneer board meeting. And that is it for the emergency and COVID-19 procedures, sir.
Thank you very much. And that's a nice segue. Would you mind reviewing for us the virtual meeting procedures?
Not at all. Thank you, sir. Thank you. The law allowing for fully virtual meetings during the pandemic places special obligations to ensure we continue to promote meaningful public access and participation. The meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be posted on our video, but it's not a requirement. It is a requirement for all board members to be able to hear each other's voices. Please mute when you are not speaking. It also may be helpful to you to put on your closed caption so that the text pops up as others are speaking. The meeting must be suspended for any broadcast interruption until public access is restored, and all votes must be recorded in roll call fashion, and we will do so alphabetically by last name, just as we did attendance. So please be ready when your name is called. And just one final caveat, we were having internet connection issues here at the office this morning, so fingers crossed that we don't experience any during the meeting. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Nosbish. So our first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. This is Andrew Smith.
Okay, Mr. Smith has moved to adopt the agenda. Is there a second to the motion?
I second. Betty Bennett.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Ms. Bennett has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? The motion is that the agenda be approved as written. Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Sinclair?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Smith-Mackey?
Yes.
It passes unanimously, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the motion is adopted. The next order of business is approval of the minutes. So is there a motion to adopt the minutes?
So move. Linda Terry.
The second, Andrew Smith.
So Ms. Terry has moved to adopt the minutes, and then there has been a second by Mr. Smith. Is there any discussion? The motion is that the minutes be approved as written. Ms. Nosbish, would you please call the vote?
Yes, sir. Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Sinclair?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Smith-Mackey?
Yes.
Motion's unanimous, sir.
So the motion is adopted. Our next segment of our meeting involves public comment. Individuals requesting to address the board during public comment were to notify the board by noon yesterday, March 29th. Ms. Nosbish, has anyone notified the board of their intent to provide public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Next is something that brings me a great amount of pleasure because Marion Brooks was probably my very first contact with the Auctioneers Board in 1987, I'm pretty sure. Ms. Brooks, are you on the call with us?
It does not
Apparently
appear
not.
that she is.
Okay, well, I'm going to read into the minutes the resolution for Marion Brooks, and this is under the banner of the Commonwealth of Virginia, of course, DOPR, resolution to Marion Brooks. Whereas Marion Brooks did faithfully and diligently serve the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation from 1972 to 2020, whereas Marion Brooks did devote generously of her time, talent, and leadership to the department, whereas Marion Brooks did endeavor at all times to serve the citizens of the Commonwealth, the department, her co-workers, and her board members in an exemplary manner, and whereas the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation wishes to acknowledge its gratitude for the valued and devoted service of a person who is held in high esteem by her fellow employees of the department and the citizens of the Commonwealth. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation this 30th day of March 2021 that Marion Brooks be given all honors and respect due her for her outstanding service to the department, the Commonwealth, and its citizens, and be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to her and be made a part of the official records of the department so that all may know of the high regard in which she is held by this department and how much she will be missed upon her retirement. Yeah, bravo.
I know
And
she wanted
it's,
to try to be here today, so I'm sure she extends her regrets because she was hoping she would be able to be here, especially to see you all. So we
Yeah.
will make sure that she gets that in the mail, and she'll be made aware that we did read the resolution at the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So our next order of business is the file review. We're going to take up the cases before us today. Ms. Nosvish, will you introduce the first case?
Yes, sir, and I'm just going to give some preliminary information before we start. All the cases today are disciplinary IFF cases. So each case will be broken down into three parts, if you will. We'll discuss the violations and if there were any priors, and then sanctions. So for each case, we're going to break it down into those three steps. All cases had a previous board member as their presiding officer. So all board members get to remain in the meeting for the discussion and consideration. And the board was sent an additional statement that we received from Mr. Brinkley's spouse, and that is in regards to the first two cases that we will be hearing today. And then with that said, with your permission, sir, I'm going to jump into the cases.
Please.
Okay, the first case before you is file number 2019-02639, John Lewis Brinkley, doing business as PCA Antiques. And that's on part 1, page 10 of your agenda that was sent to you. And this is, again, a disciplinary IFF. And so the first thing, sir, is we need a motion to approve the violations. And there are 6 violations, 6 counts in this case.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a motion to accept the violations in this case?
I think Mr. Smith made the motion.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Smith has moved to accept the recommendation. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Ms. Terry has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Ms. Nosbish, would you please call the vote?
Okay, the vote before you is to approve the violations. Ms. Bennett,
Approve.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
Passes unanimously, sir.
So the motion is adopted. Ms. Nosbish, are there any priors?
Yes, sir. File number 2016-02223 was a consent order for violation of 18 VAC 2521-150G. The sanction was $250 plus $150 in board costs for a total of $400.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Nosbish. Is there a motion to accept
The sanctions?
the sanctions in this case? I'm sorry, I got distracted. Is there a motion to accept the sanctions in this case?
I second.
Ms. Bennett has
Yes.
moved to accept. I'm getting a little breakup. Is there a second to the motion?
Go ahead.
Was that Ms. Terry?
Yes, I'll second.
Thank you. So Ms. Terry is seconding the motion. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this is Angela Smith Mackey. I thought I heard Ms. Norbish state priors as opposed to sanctions.
That was the second part of the process, Ms. Mackey. If a respondent has any priors, they're shared with you for consideration. So that's separate of the current violations and the sanctions you're voting on. That
Thank
case
you.
had been adjudicated. It's just a prior case for this respondent.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approve.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
So the motion, therefore, is adopted. Ms. Nosbish, the next case on John Lewis Brinkley, DBA PCA Antiques, would you review that for us?
Yes, sir. Now this starts on part 5 of your agenda, page 1 of part 5 of the agenda that was sent to you. This is file number 2019-02689. And what is before you are 3 violations for your consideration.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the violations in this case?
This is Angela Smith Mackey. I move we accept the violations.
And this is Andrew Smith, seconded.
So Ms. Smith Matthews has moved to accept, and Andrew has seconded. Pardon me. Is there any discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
Therefore, the motion is adopted. Ms. Nosbish, are there any priors?
I will dispense with rereading the prior that was just read in the previous case unless there's a need for me to do so, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to accept the sanctions in this case?
I so move. Betty Bennett.
Ms. Bennett has moved to accept the recommendations. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second Linda Terry.
Ms. Terry has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
The motion is therefore adopted. The next case before us, Carol Eugene Daniels, doing business as Jean Daniels Auctions. Ms. Nosbish, is there something you wanted to let us know about that?
This is file number 2020-01359, and this begins on page 1 of part 7 of your agenda.
Okay. So I'm assuming everyone's been through almost 2,000 pages of information, rather volumes. Is there a motion to accept the violations in this case?
This is Angela Smith Mackey. I accept the violations. I'm
Ms.
sorry, I
Ms.
move.
Ms. Smith Mackey has moved to accept the recommendation. Is there a second to the motion?
Yeah, this is Andrew Smith. I second the motion.
So Mr. Smith has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
Therefore, the motion is adopted. Ms. Nosbish, are there any priors?
Yes, sir, there are. Case 2019-00644 was a consent order. There were 2 violations, 18 VAC 2521 150J and 18 VAC 2521 150C for sanction of $250 each plus $150 board costs for a total of $650, sir.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the sanctions in this case?
This is Angela Smith Mackey. I move to accept the sanctions in this case.
So Ms. Smith Mackey has moved to accept the recommendation. Is there a second to the motion?
This
I
is Andrew Smith. I second the motion.
Mr. Smith has seconded the motion. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
So the motion is adopted. The next case before us in Carol Eugene Daniels, again, DBA, Jean Daniels Auctions, Part 9, Page 1. Is there a motion to accept the violations in this case?
And just for reference, sir, that's file number 2020-02444.
Thank you, Ms. Nosbish.
I so
Is there a
move.
motion?
I make a motion to accept,
So Ms. Bennett has moved to accept the recommendation. Is there a second to the motion?
This is Angela Smith Mackey. I second.
Ms. Smith Mackey has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
Therefore, the motion is adopted. Ms. Nosbish, are there any priors?
I will dispense with rereading the prior unless there's a need for me to do so, sir.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the sanctions in this case?
I make that motion. This is Andrew Smith.
Mr. Smith has moved to accept the recommendations. Is there a second to the motion?
This is Angela Smith Mackey. I second the motion.
Ms. Smith Mackey has seconded the motion. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
and Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
Therefore, the motion is adopted. The next case before us, 2020-2794, Carol Eugene Daniels, DBA Gene Daniels Auctions. Is there a motion to accept the violations in this case?
This is Angela Smith Mackey. I move to accept the violations in this case.
Ms. Smith Mackey has moved to accept the recommendations. Is there a second to the motion?
Linda Terry seconds the motion.
Thank you. Ms. Terry has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
Therefore, the motion is adopted. Ms. Nosbish, are there any priors?
I dispense with rereading the priors unless the board needs me to, sir.
That's fine. Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the sanctions in this case?
So move. This is Andrew Smith.
Mr. Smith has moved to accept the recommendations. Is there a second to the motion?
I second Betty Bennett.
Ms. Bennett has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Ms. Nosbish, please call the vote.
Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approved.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey.
Approved.
It's unanimous, sir.
Thank you. Therefore, the motion is adopted. The next part of our meeting is a review of financial statements, which is found part 10, page 269. There for any informational, there for informational purposes only. And with apologies, part 11 in the licensed population, I never saw that. Could anyone, Ms. Nosbish, could you perhaps just read that brief licensed population for us?
And I don't want to mess with my screen, so I am going to ask Bonnie Davis if she will read the licensed population, please.
Well,
I can read it. I think
Like,
you're muted.
Oh, Bonnie's muted.
all right, Mr. Smith, would you mind?
Sure. As of March 1st, 2021, auctioneers registered 1,047, auctioneer firms 232.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Financial disclosure statements. Ms. Nosbish?
I just wanted to thank the board for being responsive and meeting the deadline. We were 100% compliance, and I appreciate your attention to following that information. Thank you.
Thank you. And in other business, we have a line entry contract extension for the exam vendor. Ms. Nosbish?
Yes, sir. We're coming up on the close of our first 3 years with PSI. That contract is up December 31st of 2021. We do have an option to extend the contract for 1 year, and that would require a vote from the board, sir. If we did not extend the
Okay.
contract, we would have to go out for an RFP and go through the entire process. To my knowledge, as far as auctioneer exams, there have not been any major issues in the last 3 years with PSI.
Okay.
I move.
When would that vote be taken, Ms. Nosbish?
We're going to
Here
take the,
now?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Linda Terry is moving to extend the contract with PSA for 1 year.
I'll second. So Mr. Sinclair is seconded. Ms. Nosbish, would you take the vote, please?
Is there no discussion, sir?
I'm sorry. Any further discussion? Ms. Nosbish, would you take the vote?
Yes, sir. Ms. Bennett,
Approved.
Mr. Sinclair,
Approved.
Ms. Terry,
Approve.
Mr. Smith,
Approve.
Ms. Smith Mackey,
Approved.
and the motion is unanimous, sir, and that would extend the contract until December 31st of 2022.
Thank you, Ms. Nosbish. Conflict of interest forms, are there any outstanding, Ms. Nosbish?
The board just would have received those, and you can get those back to Bonnie Davis at your earliest convenience, please, for today's meeting.
Okay,
We, of course, had
Of
no
course.
travel for this meeting.
right, no travel vouchers. Is there any other business before the board?
I have none, sir.
Hearing none. And hearing none, with gratitude, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Spectacular.
Good to hear, everyone.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. See you soon. Goodbye.